All right, y'all. Episode number 1 and Still TV in the building. All right, we're just gonna touch on a couple topics today. All right, we got Spence versus Garcia coming up. We got a Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence split. We need to talk about too. Tyson versus Roy coming up, y'all. And then we got Canelo leaving Golden Boy. So let's see what he about to do next. All right, y'all. Stay tuned. Video gonna be dope. Cue the intro.
I'm handsome, I'm bad, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
Man, we just gonna get right to it this time. I promise. I'm living in a prophecy, and I feel ain't nobody hot as me. Ain't nobody strong as we. I'm flexing on your heroes, I'm working on your prodigy. Stay away from every boy that hate to suck the spawn and see. I think I might have came too strong on that. And they might think it's something wrong with that. Let me take it back.
And still.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in. This is the first vid. We're going to get into it. Just some current news right now. The main thing I'm worried about is this Spence Garcia fight. What you think, Aaron?
I mean, I think we're gonna see Errol Spence like we always see him, even after the accident.
Yeah, I watched the media workout the other day. Your boy looked good. He looked
My
good.
man definitely in shape. So one thing I'll say is that, it's looking like it could be a blessing in disguise that's happening to him. I think it woke him up, and I think your boy taking it serious. He was known to get up to like 190.
Yeah. He
Fighting
definitely
at 147.
He looked like he's fight ready right now.
Yeah.
Like he was.
No, he definitely ready.
Yeah.
He definitely ready. And for those of y'all that don't know, when you walk around at 190 and fight at 147, it means you cutting. What is that? 30. Like that's over 40 pounds.
Yeah.
That's over 40 pounds, and that's not easy to do. So you're better off staying in shape, staying closer to your fight weight. That looks like that's what he did. So I'm excited, man. I think we're gonna see some action.
What's your prediction?
I got Spence by decision. I'm gonna go 8 rounds to 4.
You've been generous.
I'm gonna go 8 rounds.
I think we're
to
gonna
4.
see a different Spence. I think it's gonna be Danny's first time getting stopped. It's kind of gonna be like what we saw from Peterson in the back half of the fight, but we're gonna see it for all 12 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. So the reason I'm not going with the stoppage, I think Danny's real solid. I think he's actually underrated. I think he's an underrated boxer. I think he's real solid. I think he knows what to do when he gets hit. And with that being said, he's never fought nobody like Errol Spence.
exactly.
But-
So I think it's gonna be early. He's gonna catch Spence maybe second or third round. Everybody gonna be concerned. Spence gonna shake it off, get the stoppage maybe round 10.
Round 10, knockout round 10.
Round 10.
All right, I'm gonna go Spence by decision, 8 rounds to 4. So we'll see how that thing shake out. But I'm excited for it, man. The welterweight division, in my eyes, is the best division of all time. I know y'all, people like the heavyweights. But when I name the names of the welterweights of all time, that's my favorite, by far my favorite division. But I think it's the best division of all time. So, it's good to see these boys rumble.
So for me, it's anything from 147 to probably 175.
175, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the heavyweights and the little guys. They don't get enough knockouts unless you're Javante Davis. So,
Facts.
but all right, piggybacking off the Spence, right? All right, Bud and Spence been in the news. Everybody want to see the fight. Now we're talking about who's the A side, who's the B side, who deserves the most. What you think about that?
So we texted about it. I didn't see no news. You gave me the first news saying that Crawford wanted 60-40 Crawford.
So it was initially Spence. Spence came out, was like,
Okay.
all right, we can do it. It's going to be 60-40 my way.
Okay.
And Bud was like, no way. The fight ain't going to happen then. Right? He's like, if anybody getting 60-40, it should be me. I'm the pound-for-pound champ.
Terrence Crawford, you need to stop this, man. You need to stop this. Listen, brother.
I mean, he don't have a leg to stand on. He's not doing the pay-per-view numbers that Spence doing.
Right. And I remember texting you saying, like, I think it should just be 50-50 based off of the fact that you got so many heads saying that Terrence Crawford is the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
People talking pound-for-pound ratings, that's not tangible. What we're looking at is how many people are paying for the fight. That's what it boils down. When it comes down to business, I mean, we shouldn't really care about the business as fans, but They're already negotiating.
The reason,
hold up, they're negotiating publicly, so now we can speak on it. I feel like what Spence is doing is fair.
no, I definitely think if it goes lopsided in any direction, that Spence would be the one to get that 60.
It ain't no if, it should go lopsided.
It just depends how you look at it. The fact that this is the fight,
Yeah.
and the reason why it's the fight is because they're the two best. They are the two best, and it's a toss up in many people's eyes, and that's the reason why I would say 50-50, because it is a toss up. That's literally what 50-50 means, is a toss.
But they're not making 50-50 money as already.
I hear you on that. But some of it has to do with the promotion. You know that they don't promote Terrence Crawford.
Well, Bob said that Terrence is losing him money, so he's devaluing him in his own place.
Look.
And Bud is coming out saying that Bob's a good guy. They're gonna work it out. I don't know
about all that, but listen, I think I would have no problem with it being 50-50, and I think some of it's just because I want to see the fight. I just want to see the fight happen. But you make a valid point from a numbers perspective, and I got to see all the numbers laid out, because I've heard things, and I would believe that Spence does generate more pay-per-view buys.
I mean, I don't know what
Because Crawford ain't even on pay-per-view.
I've heard it from
Crawford ain't even on pay-per-view.
I've heard it from different forums. I've heard it from
definitely.
different people talking about it, and I may have seen it, but I don't know what's true and what's not.
Definitely. Well,
so you got to gauge generally Spence's numbers are higher.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I mean that the Spence Porter fight, I heard did really well. I heard that in. Don't quote me on it. I heard it was around 500,000 pay-per-view buys, which is solid.
I think it was like 340.
340?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But either way, he's fighting on pay-per-view and Terrence isn't.
Right. Just the simple fact that your man ain't on pay-per-view.
Yeah, he's not even on pay-per-view.
So I can agree with 60-40 for Errol. The reason why Terrence Crawford is going to say he needs to be the A side, because so many people gas him up, and I don't really like to use that term.
At the end of the day, we arguing about it and saying maybe, what should be, shouldn't be. I think that Bud is actually this is a negotiation tactic. I start high, and then maybe he will come down and get me close to 50. You know what I mean?
Either that or he don't want to fight him.
Because it's not happening right now anyway. Yeah. So you may as well, talk that game.
Yeah, either that.
See where it lands.
Either that or, he don't want to fight him. And I don't like when people talk about this fighter scared, that fighter scared, because most of these dudes ain't scared of each other. I'm going to tell y'all that now. They just not. They all been hit a lot their whole lives at this point. Yeah. I think a lot of it's more so business. But yeah, I just want the thing to happen.
Speaking of guys not being scared, another topic I want to get to.
All right, what's next, baby?
Your boy Canelo, man. So he finally gets away from De La Hoya. They get him out the dazzling contract. We thought he was breaking away from both of them, but actually it was just a cut out the middleman. So De La Hoya's out of the picture, and we're all excited, thinking he's going to choose Caleb Plant. I really wanted David Benavidez, but I figured, Caleb Plant.
Forget that for right now.
Bruh.
You can forget it.
He chose Caleb Smith. Caleb. He went right back to Eddie Hearn.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Why, Canelo?
Why you running, baby? Come on now. All right, so check it out. I'm not surprised. At this point with Canelo, I'm happy that he just chose somebody that's not crazy over the hill or doing no crazy stuff with picking someone right after they just fought or doing crazy stuff with the weight.
Well, Caleb Smith getting, a 5-week notice. So that's his other thing he likes to do, give you a short notice.
That's short.
Yeah.
Get him, man, 9 weeks.
And
Come
the
on,
fight
bro.
we really want is Charlo. So let's be honest. That's the one we really want, Big Charlo. So I don't know if that's going to ever happen.
I'm not even going – listen, that may not ever happen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's free now to make his own decisions.
Right.
So we'll see what he does. Maybe he hasn't fought in a while. Maybe he'll get this one out the way, and then we'll see him in the ring with somebody we want to see.
I don't think. Listen, if you're honest with yourself, if you watch both of these men fight, you know that that's a bad matchup for Canelo Alvarez.
You talking about Big Charlo?
Big Charlo.
Yeah.
It's a bad matchup for him, and I think that's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
I think that's a good fight because I think Canelo is making a good fight for anyone at this point, other than Floyd obviously washed him out.
Watched him.
But
And I think that's why a lot of people think Caleb Plant will give him a lot of problems because he's a slick fighter.
He's a slick fighter.
I'm not comparing him to, I'm not saying he's Floyd, bro.
I understand.
This guy loves Floyd.
But I don't, don't do that. I'm just calling it like it is. It's a different level of ring IQ right there, is what I'm saying.
I know.
So,
but it's not the same flat foot guy that can't move, no head movement, just coming in and getting tagged.
I think that Canelo's ring IQ is really high, actually. I do. I think it's really high. I think he can box. I think he got good hands. But just from a pure physical standpoint, that Charlo matchup is really bad for him. If Charlo's chin wasn't as strong, then it'd be a little different. Yeah. But the fact that your man got that granite chin, got the height on him, got the strength on him, got the jab.
That jab crazy.
That jab's crazy. He doesn't put combos together as well as Canelo does, I don't think. And I would say Canelo's the more accurate puncher. And he will pot shot you a little bit better. But other than that,
I think Benavidez is a worse fight for Canelo. It's even worse.
They're both bad. That's a toss up. I mean, I think he's losing both of those fights. The issue with Benavidez, the reason why, and Benavidez is gonna have a problem getting fights because he's too good too soon. So he's gonna have to build his name up before.
And he keep getting in his own way, but that's my guy.
Right, that too. Yeah. And what people gotta understand, when you got these fighters that are real young, that are real good, it's not that guys are. You can call it a duck. But if someone's that good and I'm fighting, I'm going to say, no, he's a little too good to fight him for this amount of money. You're not generating enough money yet,
Yeah.
So I get it with him. Charlo, no. Charlo's there. Charlo was just on pay-per-view. It ain't no reason to not be fighting him.
So who should Benavidez be fighting?
I don't know.
I really want him in Plant.
Benavidez young, bro.
But he
like 23?
23, I think. But he and Plant have that history. So it's like, that's the one I really want to see.
Yeah.
But now, he lost his belt. I seem like they're going to kick that can down the street.
Benavidez is going to start getting fights when he start generating some numbers because people are going to be like, he's worth the money to lose to him now. That's what it comes down to.
They're going to mess around and throw him in there with Berlinga. And then we don't know.
Look, that joint happened, bro. With a pop on it, I'm ready for that.
That'd be crazy.
I'm ready for that.
All right, man. Let's move on. All right. I know neither one of us are too excited, but
Casual
we got to talk
fan
about it.
moment of the video.
All right,
Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. All right. Let's do this. Let's talk about what we think about it real quick right now. Just some quick thoughts. Who we think gonna win now, and then let's talk about what they would have done in their prime. I think that's a more valid conversation for the video. But anyway,
I don't know. In their primes, I don't know.
No, let's do that last. Let's do that last.
All right, right now I got I think I got Roy winning, man. I think these are two. I know what we remember them as, but Tyson hasn't fought in almost 20 years.
And what people forget is that he was getting his ass whooped at the end of his career.
And Roy
even 20 years ago.
Roy fought a couple years ago, so I feel like if
Roy got his ass whooped, but he was still training.
No, Roy won his last fight.
Did he?
2 years ago.
I thought he lost that. Okay.
So for him, I feel like if he can stay out of dodge the first minute, 2 minutes, the first round, these are old guys, man. I think he just outpoint Tyson the rest of the way, and I'm actually more concerned for Tyson than I am for Roy. If Tyson wins, it's going to be a one-punch, knockout. Roy gets up, he's fine. Tyson might take a lot of punches.
I don't know about Roy get up, he's fine.
But I'm just saying, if it goes on and Roy just, picking him apart, he's too old to take too many shots.
Yeah, and that's really how that happens when you got a good chin and you just keep going. Like when you just keep getting hit over and over.
But at this point, they're in their 50s. Roy's power might feel like Tyson's to Tyson. You know what I mean? You getting hit. You're like, I'm
feeling it.
Exactly.
Feeling it.
So,
yeah, I mean, look, this ain't no real match to me. First of all,
nah. So I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. I don't like. When I first heard about it, I wasn't excited. I didn't like it at all. Right. So I'm torn between you getting more eyes watching boxing at the end of the day, and you do have a couple legit fighters on there. You got Badu Jack fighting on the undercard. I don't know why.
I don't like Badu Jack.
I like him. I love him. He never really gets the wins.
He always getting his ass whooped, bro.
He's a good fighter though. Badu Jack is a good fighter, but he's on the card, right? So you get people to watch Badu Jack that wouldn't know who Badu Jack was. You see what I'm saying? So I like that fact, but I just hate that all the real fights that are going on, people are not interested. And
Yeah,
then
it's
stuff like
amazing to me, right? Be in the gym, you know, training my clients, and people come up to me. What you think about Tyson versus Roy Jones? Don't say nothing about Earl Spence versus Danny Garcia. I'm like, y'all are just, and that's I hate it. You know?
I tell everybody about every card every weekend. You watching the fight? You watching the fight? Then next week, nah, I ain't see it. They're not interested.
Yeah.
So then, hey man, I think I'm gonna order that Tyson versus. I'm like, you gonna order the pay-per-view exhibition?
Y'all crazy.
That's what
bro.
you want to watch?
Y'all crazy. Yeah, man. Like this casual fan stuff. I ain't gonna say it's got to stop because I'm at least happy that people are interested in something boxing related. Because I love the sport so much. But
I'm not gonna lie though, what jumped out to me on the card was Nate Robinson fighting Johnson.
What is it, Jake Paul? Or
Jake
Logan
Paul.
Jake Paul.
And I was excited at first,
Hey.
like this is gonna be funny.
Oh, let's talk about that. And I'm gonna get back to Roy and Tyson. But hold on, let's talk about Nate Robinson real quick. Because you was giving him a shot at first.
I was.
Because he's an athlete and he's an explosive athlete. We seen this man hit the pads. Nah, I'm giving him zero
bad.
chance.
It was
I'm giving him
bad.
zero chance. I'm sorry, Nate. You gonna get your ass whooped.
And we need another NBA player, maybe Steven Jackson, somebody with some hands
Something.
to come out and redeem you because it's gonna be bad.
Because you look, I seen both of y'all train, and I seen Jake Paul and him sparring dudes.
Yeah,
And he looked like he is at least about that action a little bit.
2 different levels.
Exactly. And there's so many levels to this, but Nate's on the ground floor. He's on the ground floor. Jake Paul's at least above the floor. You know,
Man.
when you start to put the gloves on and start to go against somebody, then and actually are okay with it. That's when you're above that ground floor.
Yeah.
You're not just hitting the bag no more. It's like, no, I'm actually lining up. That's different. And Jake Paul's there, Nate Robinson isn't. So Nate, you have no chance. You have no chance. The only way you
Prove him wrong, Nate.
is if you so aggressive and you just so used to getting hit for some reason and you just walking through shots. I don't see that happening though. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just thought it was funny. But as far as Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, I'm picking Roy for this little
Oh,
exhibition.
you picking Roy too?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. But okay. Let's talk about what they doing in their prime. What do you think? Let's talk about 1997,
That's too late, I think.
96.
That might be better.
Because I'm thinking about when Roy was in his prime too.
I mean,
Because Roy
size
hit his
different,
prime later.
but in his prime, he was nowhere near the weight division.
So what we have to do is let's talk about 90. We want to do 96 Tyson.
I don't think we can even have this conversation. Like
96 Tyson. When was Roy Jones heavyweight champion of the world?
that was later, like 2000.
Yeah, whatever the
And-
year that was.
But he moved up from what, middleweight?
Moved up from middleweight.
Yeah, middleweight.
Moved up from middleweight.
Nah, like I don't feel like we can even compare it
So, but who you taking? If they're both lining up,
in their prime.
yeah, because
You
Roy,
gotta take Tyson.
no, I'm taking Roy.
I think you're crazy.
Roy wanted that fight to happen. Roy wanted to fight Mike Tyson back then. I'm taking Roy Jones because I think if Roy Jones gets him to round 3, it's over.
No,
I think if he gets him round 3, it's over. And what people got to remember is that
Not
how
against-
undersized. Wait a second. What people got to understand is how undersized Mike Tyson was. The man was 5'9". Roy was about 6 feet. So you're talking about somebody that had the length on him and was probably 3 times as fast. And the foot speed.
I just think Tyson would bulldoze him and knock him out
The
whenever
foot
he
speed.
landed. Whenever he landed, we over.
I think Roy would be able to. You got to remember how fast Roy's feet were. I think he'd be able to keep his distance. I think he'd start chopping him up with jabs. And I think by the time you get to round 2 or 3, I think it's a wash at that point. Honestly, I do. And that's an unpopular opinion, I know. But the way Roy Jones could box in his prime, I'm taking Roy Jones. 100%.
So
I think it's too much length, too much speed. I do.
So if Tyson come out and sleep him right now, does that change?
Well, when they old,
Yeah,
nah, that don't change nothing.
it'd have
They
been
50
worse
years old.
before though.
No. Yo,
All right,
Roy in his prime, dude, Roy in his prime was unbelievable.
I know this.
Prime
But-
Roy, I think Prime Roy is a better fighter than
He-
Prime Tyson.
But he was too small then. So
No, but what I'm saying is when he was a heavyweight.
Tyson would have killed him.
I disagree.
Who did he beat? Ruiz?
Who did Tyson beat? Come on, don't start that. Because they both, because neither one of them, don't do that. Because if we're going to go there, you know, Tyson wasn't really beating nobody like that either in their prime. So, yeah, I mean, we can't use that argument for him.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too much further.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about too long because the video getting long and I don't want to really, you know, it's a dream scenario. You know, it's a dream scenario. I would have loved to have seen that fight, though. I would have loved to have seen that.
Where we at on time? All right.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Let's get to one last topic real quick.
All right, where we at?
Who do you want to see between the 126 and 135?
Like dream scenarios?
Right now, like based off the Tank's big win, what Devin Haney did in his last fight, T.O. over Loma.
Okay.
Shakira right there, Gary Russell. Like, what matchups do you want to see?
What matchups? I got to see Gary Russell against somebody fast.
Somebody, right?
Somebody.
Anybody. Give me anybody. I really don't want to see him against, I guess that will probably be the easiest fight to make. Well, maybe not because they're on the opposite side, but as far as weight, he and Shakira Stevenson, because they're right there. I think they're both 126 looking to go to 130.
Who, Gary?
Yeah.
Gary's already bigger.
But he hasn't fought at 130 yet.
He hasn't fought there yet.
Yeah.
I think he's skipping 130 though.
He said he wants to skip, but he'll stop since Tank fought at 130. He was like, "Oh, we go right there then."
Right.
But
no, I don't want to see that yet. I think you let Shakur. While I think he's the next big one.
Yeah,
I think you let him get a few more fights where he can wax a few dudes, man. Like don't throw him in there yet.
So I want one for the hometown. We're coming from the DMV.
Yeah.
I want to see Tank Gary.
No doubt.
Tank.
Somebody asked me about this today. Now, listen, this is gonna be another. This reminds me of Roy versus Tyson. A little bit.
I can see that.
Yeah, it reminds me of that because I know people love knockout artists.
Mm-hmm.
People love it, and I know what side they're gonna go on. I know boxing, and I know I'm taking Gary Russell Jr. in that fight.
I think if I had to put my money on it, I'd bet on Gary.
I would take
because
Gary
I feel like
if
Tank doesn't get him out of there, I don't know.
Tank, you listen. Here's the thing. You're not going to outpoint Gary Russell Jr. I don't think your hands are fast enough, and I don't think your work rate's high enough. That's just me, and I think you're phenomenal. I think your hands are crazy. You obviously have more power. In order for you to beat him, you're going to have to sleep him. You're going to have to sleep him, so it comes down to that.
But if it's close, it's going to Tank. The scorecards.
I don't think it's going to be close.
If it is, Gary's going to have to wash him for real.
I think that's a good possibility, actually.
I don't know, man.
It depends what you mean about wash him.
He's going to have to
rounds does that
win maybe at least 8 rounds.
I think he can win 8 rounds.
Convincingly.
I think he can win 8 rounds. And I think that's a phenomenal fight. And I love Tank. But just talking as a boxing guy, just what I think will happen.
Win, lose, or draw, I just love it for Gary. Like, man, get a fight.
Yeah, you got it. I need to see this dude fight. We know Santa Cruz ducked him.
Honestly, I might have my money on Gary, but I'll be hoping for Tank to win in a close fight.
Yeah, I think Tank winning is better for boxing.
Yeah, for the sake of boxing. Yeah.
I think Tank winning is better for, like when I think about those styles, especially two southpaws, because when you have two, see, look, a guy like Tank, when he's fighting orthodox guys, he's able to set those little traps to land those big shots, right? As soon as you fight another southpaw, that dynamic goes out the window to a certain degree. And it comes down to who's faster at that point. It comes down to just pure skill. It comes down to experience. You're not setting those lefty versus righty traps. That's when pure speed, that's when pure experience, that's when that comes in a little bit more. That's another thing, setting that big left hand up
my
when you're a left-handed
for Gary,
fighter.
though, is the one loss that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Loma started to wear him down and kind of, be more physical. If Loma was able to do that, what would Tank do to him?
Well, I think styles make fights. I think they're extremely different.
But I think Tank would be more inclined to bully him even more, and especially if he feels that power.
Well, I think that the reason why Loma was able to do that to him was his feet. I think his footwork is what did Gary Russell in. He was so in and out on him. Not only that, he started to time Gary Russell was throwing all fastballs. He was throwing those little like shoe shine shots the whole time. I think he learned from that. I think he's a better fighter now. You know, like he was throwing that fast jab, that piston. It's a great jab. I arguably, honestly, the best jab in boxing, even though he's a smaller guy. His jab is lethal. But he was throwing at the same speed, the same power the entire time. Lomachenko started to time him. That's a guy that had 400 damn amateur fights, you know. So, look, I don't think Tank's beating him that way is what I'm saying, if he beats him. I think it's a bad fight to look at to see what Tank's going to do to him is what I'm saying.
I want to say Gary had an excuse for that night, too. I can't remember what it was. I think he said he was dehydrated. Or
I don't want to hear that shit.
100%.
I don't want to hear that. You lost. And you lost convincingly. It was a bad night for Gary. But I would bet on Gary Russell Jr., but I like Tank winning for boxing. No doubt about it.
Definitely.
He's as Stephen A. said, he's box office.
That's the fight. That's the fight for us, our area. That would be the one.
Facts. And I'm a PG County guy, so you know Gary, that's it right there. But
Tank the future, though.
Tank the future. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But we're running long. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Check us out next time. And still,
baby. Let's get it.
Remaining undefeated, proving he is one of the elite champions of the sport today, and still